Stop hiring black people to make Mexican food.
Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing great. So let's watch this lady together when she was saying that they should not hire black people to make Mexico food, and if white is making Chinese food. But anyway, black community, they come out for her. Let's dive into it.
Stop hiring black people to make Mexican food. Would you trust a white person to make you Chinese food? And this is not at like a Panda Express, but an authentic Chinese restaurant. Would you want a white person making your General Tso chicken? I don't think so. I don't want a black person making my Mexican food. Never. So, in any home-style authentic restaurant, would you want a Mexican cooking you fried chicken, or making your Kool-Aid at a black restaurant? No, you wouldn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get to eat my quesadilla. I had to throw most of it into the street because I'm not eating American cheese on a quesadilla. That is literally disgusting. So all my quesadilla for my $15 literally got thrown into the street. And now I'm just eating rice and beans. When I saw the American cheese, I should have just been the asshole and made them remake it or give me a refund and remake it with the Mexican cheese. But I was like, no, I won't be a bitch. I have to get ready for work, so I will just settle with this.
She stated that she didn't want black people to make her Mexican food. She stated that black people should not be making authentic Mexican food. Baby girl, Mexican food is African food.
Okay, let me get this straight. I can't even say it. You're saying Mexican food is African food. Let me say it again. Mexican food is African food. I'm gonna let her talk, man, but y'all better like the video. It took me 10 minutes to say that, man. But let's let her talk.
In order for you to have authentic Mexican food, you would have to get it from Africa.
Before we let her continue, let's process it. Nope, still sounds dumb.
Pause and read. Horchata is from Africa. Your rice and beans are from Africa. Pause and read. He even invented rice. Even a lot of Mexican people don't know this.
Yeah, there may have been some ingredients inspired by, African food, but that's literally all over the world. There are many dishes that are inspired by other dishes, okay? Like here in America, in Chicago, they have deep dish pizza. Now, the idea of pizza came from Italy, but would you call deep dish pizza Italian? I don't think you would. So yeah, maybe Mexican food have some dishes that were inspired by, African foods. But just because they were inspired by African foods does not mean they are exactly the same. And I also think the woman in the beginning of the video was tripping. I didn't show the entire video because it was just going to take too long. But the woman at the beginning of the video was saying that she didn't want black people or black Americans making her making the Mexican food. And I'm just thinking hey, if you think you can make it, go ahead and make it. If you don't make it right, oh well. And I know why Mexicans don't think about stuff like this. It's because you're the only person that thinks about it and then gets it entirely wrong. Like if somebody made a painting and I was inspired by that painting and I go to paint something, I might make something similar to it, but it's not going to be the same. Hey, but maybe I'm tripping, okay? What do y'all think about this?
Racist. Please don't have black people name in your mouth. You sound real stupid.
She does not. Kool-Aid is culturally a black drink. I didn't have Kool-Aid until I was an adult. Never drank that shit as a child, nor did my mother. So please tell me how that's my cultural drink. Who says black people make the best fried chicken? I didn't eat fried chicken growing up, and I couldn't fucking fry chicken as an adult until 5 years ago. Those sound like racist ass stereotypes. Sounds like you're taking out your anger about getting American cheese on a quesadilla to resorting throwing out bullshit stereotypes. They fry chicken all over the world in places where black people are not. And the only restaurant I've ever gotten Kool-Aid from was a Chinese carryout. Please shut the fuck up. Go all the way to hell. Don't collect $200. Don't pass go.
Like, genuinely, white people love purposefully pronouncing these words incorrectly, and they genuinely think it's, like, fucking hilarious, which is annoying on an entirely different fucking level for one specific reason that I want to rant about. The minute that a colored person speaks more than one language, they, especially English as their second language, the minute they make a single mistake, people are on their fucking ass. And it's like, they speak more than one language. This is their second language. How many languages do you fucking know? One? Wow, you're so smart. And it's the same exact people like that who like to say quesadilla and think it's fucking hilarious when, no, you're just fucking racist and you think that you're better than everyone because you're white.
By LinkedIn or XYZ, no. It's very simple and very straightforward. A lot of these jobs are not hiring because these companies don't have enough money to pay these employees. And another thing too, a lot of companies have to post job listings in order to, make the company seem legitimate. Because if you're a company and you're continuously, having postings, that shows that you're giving career opportunities to people who need it. But in this case, they're not doing that. And also another thing, if you look on Google, and I'm pretty sure you can find the same thing on TikTok, a lot of these recruiters will literally tell you a lot of these postings that they're putting on there, yes, they are hiring, just not right now. Maybe 30 weeks from now, maybe a month from now, hey, maybe 2 years from now. But just right now, they're not hiring. And it's very, very unfortunate. So here's something that I told my mom to do, which worked for me, if you're trying to find a job. If you get on any of these job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, ZipRecruiter, before you apply to the job, right? You see a job you like, before you apply, call that job. You see the posting, find the number, call it. When you call that number, you're going to say, hey, I'm on here on ZipRecruiter, and I see that you guys have a position open for customer service representative. Is this still open? Or is it not open? Are you guys hiring or are you not hiring? Right then and there, they're going to give you an answer. They're going to give you an answer. So you don't waste your time applying for a job that's not even hiring right now. And you don't waste your time applying for a job where they might, decline you an offer. And also doing this sets your application apart from other people's applications. And another thing too, a lot of people are looking for jobs. We're all collectively going through the same thing due to the recession. Yeah, it sucks because it makes it seem like you have to fight for an $8 job and you have to fight for $19 an hour. But that's what you have to do. Applying for a job is not good enough at all. You have to call the jobs, the job postings and listings that you see, and make sure that they are still hiring. They will ask for your name. They'll probably ask for your resume. They'll probably ask for your email, XYZ. They're going to remember that. Because why? There was a specific email that was sent to whatever HR or recruitment regarding you in your application. Hell, you might end up actually getting on the phone with HR just by sitting there, calling the company and asking that question.
This is a book called La Huella Negra en Guanajuato, Retratos de Afrodescendientes de los siglos XIX y XX, The Black Footprints of Guanajuato, Portraits of Afro-Descendants from the 19th and 20th century. Guanajuato was a mining town that depended heavily on slave labor, and it was said that they had more slaves there than actual Spanish. Even though Mexico didn't get rid of slavery until 1829, there were a lot of ways for people to get their freedom, either by purchasing it or running away. And these are Guanajuato children of African descent. And a lot of the freed and enslaved African people were able to intermarry with indigenous people as well. It got to the point when the Spanish crown was doing their census, the census taker just threw up his hands because he didn't know how to classify people. These African descendants were able to build community and even able to incorporate African techniques into the cuisine at the time, making Mexican food. And also many African descendants were able to achieve political success. This is Pio de Jesus Pico. He was the last governor of California before it was ceded over to the United States. He was also of African and indigenous descent. And we can't forget about Gaspar Yanga, an African man who resisted Spanish colonial rule so long and so much that they gave up and allowed him to have self-rule. You might also say she's talking about African Americans, but you have to remember that Mexico opened their doors to runaway slaves when they abolished slavery. And even today, there's a group called the Moscogos. They celebrate every traditional Mexican holiday and even celebrate Juneteenth. So si tu ta puta racista, just say that.
Much for sharing. It was really interesting to learn that. I appreciate it. I want to share a similar experience too as a person of color. My parents are Mexican, and when I took a Mexican American class, the professor said that a lot of people from Latin cultures, their food includes a lot of parts of the animals that the colonizers did not like. So the colonizers would eat the good meat from the animal, and then they would just leave the rest. And this is what our ancestors would then use to be part of their food. So you would have like patas de puercos and soups and broths and all types of things like that, because it was just the leftover food that we had and we just had to make it work. And then you have tripa and all that. Shout out to our ancestors because they made it work. The food is But once again, I just want to thank you for sharing. I really do appreciate the new information.